recording and the video got deleted. We're gonna have to do this again. We're here in 770 in the middle of Fabrengen, Hey Davis Fabrengen. I don't know if you could hear in the background. And the microphone is very close, so you shouldn't hear too much noise from the background. I don't know if you could hear, but there's a Shibana Besamidrash Fabrengen song going on. That's the microphone is really close, so hopefully you don't hear too much background noise. Let's look at this guy and make sure it doesn't. Okay, I just have to make sure my coat does not disappear on me. Okay, let's try to get started over here. We're gonna do this again because after I just recorded for like 10 minutes and it got deleted, I already forgot what I said. No, I didn't forget, but like, all right, I just lost my train of thought. Let's just do it again. I guess this is how it works. In life, sometimes you do things and we think then it all disappears and you have to do it all again. So that's what just happened to me right now. I just recorded almost the whole halacha and I have to do it again. Okay, so let me tell you a story. Yeah, the story is halacha. What happens? Somebody does an avera. Yeah, usually you have to have two witnesses. Somebody does an avera. In order for him to be chayv malchus, he needs to have two witnesses warning him, telling him, you know what you're doing is wrong, and you're chayv malchus, and he has to do it consciously, saying, yeah, I'm doing it anyway. What happens if you have that situation? Yeah, let's say someone's Mechal Shabbos and Eidim are telling him, hey, you're Mechal Shabbos. Well, let's say Eidim see him, but they don't tell him he's Mechal Shabbos, but they see him. In such a case, he loses his status of being able to testify. Wow, I literally lost my train of thought over here. This is so crazy. So much noise. I literally can't even focus on what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's try this again. Just read out and we'll explain. Okay. כל הנפסל בעבירה, אם היא עידו עליו שני עדים שעושה עבירה פלניס, אף פי שלא יסודו שאינו ליקר הרי זה פוסל עדוס. Yeah, what happens if somebody did an avera and he has two witnesses seeing that he did it, meaning people saw him doing it and they didn't warn him, so he's not chayv malchus because they didn't warn him. Yeah, in order for him to be chayv malchus, you have to warn him. Harei ze posel le'edus. He is posel le'edus. He is disqualified from giving testimony. When are we talking about? So when is this case talking about? כשעובר על דבורים שפושט ביסודו, שהם אבירה, כשעובר נשבע לשקר, או לשוב, או לגוזל, או לגונב, או יאכל נביא וכיוצא בו. Yeah, if somebody did something which is very popular, it's widespread, everyone knows that you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to swear in Hashem's name for no reason, or falsely, or you're not allowed to steal, obviously. And somebody stole and he saw him, that's a problem, right? Or he robbed, or he ate an unshechted animal. But if witnesses saw him doing an avera, which is very close to being shaygig, meaning you're not sure, it's not clear if he knows consciously what he's doing that is going against the Torah, he has to get warned. Meaning, the Rambam is basically trying to cover over here in the halachos. When does a person get disqualified from testifying? If he does an avera, and if he has witnesses saying they did an avera, okay, that's the short answer. Now, what happens if he did an avera, which it's unclear if it's an avera? Then he needs to get warned. If they saw him tying a knot on Shabbos, I'm not talking about tying a shoe. Because tying a shoe, it has to be a kesher shekayama. What's a kesher shekayama? It's tying like a camel tie. What is a camel tie? I'll show you right over here. This is a camel tie. Right there. So what's going on over there? He's tying the rope to pull the camel. By the way, these days, many places, the modern days, they don't really have all this contraption of tying. Everything is with like clips and hooks. So you don't really need to tie it. But many places still do tying. And they have two people in the background. You see those two guys in the background. They see him doing it. So not everyone knows that it's a Chol Shabbos. Some people say maybe it's not a Kesher Shekayama. Nobody knows. Maybe he didn't know it was Shabbos. I don't know. So he has to get warned. Once he gets warned and he still does it, then he is disqualified from testifying. Yeah, pretty much that's what we're talking about. Somebody did something, disqualified. When does he get disqualified? How does he get disqualified? And how does he get? Because he gets banned from giving edus, and how does he get unbanned? So we're gonna learn how he's gonna get unbanned from giving edus. Yeah, so most people do not know they're not allowed to tie that tie. Therefore, he has to get warned. Maybe he forgot, even on Yom Tov, maybe he forgot. Same to someone who does gambling. Tomid, someone who does gambling is disqualified, is banned from testifying, but maybe he doesn't know, so you have to warn him. Or if someone became approved to collect tax for the king, or for, I don't know. These days, people buy these. You could buy tax bonds. I don't know exactly what it's called. You could buy, like, I think it's like tax deeds. It's called. You could buy a tax document that government did not collect, and then you go and collect that tax. You sue them or something, and you make him pay up that tax, and you collect money. So you get approved. You buy it from the government, and then you can go and collect tax. I don't know if I'm talking exactly about this, but something similar where you decide where you get authority to go and collect tax. And in many cases, you collect more than what tax is supposed to be. So in that case, you're stealing. So you're apostle for Edus. Or a gabai shemay silatzmai, or a gabai. This time about a gabai of the king. Um, he's also some sort. He's a tax collector. And he gets like a set a payment, but at the same time, if he takes more than what he's supposed to, if you see that he's taking more than what he's supposed to, he's also disqualified. If he's taking Normally, if you're taking for the king and you're getting a set salary, we're not going to suspect you. But if we, because you're getting a salary, but if you're not getting a set salary, or even if you are, but we find out that you're taking on your own more than what you're supposed to, that also gets you banned from testifying. They even have to tell him. Most people say, "What is it? I'm collecting tax. I have the authority to collect the tax. What's the problem?" Most people don't see why is that stealing. Yep. And same too is things that are similar to this. Yeah, that was not going to list every single scenario where people are not sure, that they did something wrong and they have to be told that it's wrong. Yeah, you can figure out. Yes, everything that Adam see that this person knew that he's doing this, but he's a Rasha and he's doing it on purpose. Guten Erev Shabbos, everyone. Welcome to today's Rambam Shir. We are continuing from yesterday's Rambam Shir because yesterday we recorded 2 times. I don't know what happened to the system, to the camera. First time we recorded, it stopped recording while we were recording. And the second time we recorded, it did not notify us that it's not recording. And then only when I finished, I realized that we didn't record. So, yeah, things happen. Baruch Hashem, we are back. So we're going to continue in Halacha Beis, Perek Yud Beis. Now, in case you're wondering why it look like I'm recording from some dungeon or something, I'll show you what's going on over here. Basically, I'm in a shul over here, and the shul is middle of construction. So this is like basically the cleanest wall I kind of found with a table. You see that? So yeah, this is basically the cleanest place I found, cleanest wall, so to speak, that I found in the shul here. I'm in a shul here called Anshe Lubavitch in Crown Heights, East Flatbush. Okay, so I guess hopefully next time I'll be here. Hopefully, next time we'll record in 70. Next time, if I ever end up recording here, hopefully it will probably be renovated and look much nicer. Okay, so we're continuing from yesterday. Halacha Beis. Ein adam nifsa b'aveda al pi atzmai. Yeah, we're talking about people who self-incriminate. We're saying how does someone be banned from giving edus? How does that work? So we're saying, for one, you cannot ban yourself. You cannot incriminate yourself. Yeah, that one's gonna go based off the cloud. In adam mesi matzmi rasha. A person cannot make himself a rasha. So even if he goes and testifies, says, "Hey, I'm a rasha," for whatever reason, he's not believed. But there are certain cases where we believe part of what he's saying. If it involves him end up owing someone money, we believe that part. That's called palgina dibura. That's another rule that we're going to implement over here. That we take someone testifies and part of it is incriminating himself. We do not believe that part. We just believe the other part. Let's see. A person cannot uh, self make himself possible based off his own self. Ketzad. So if someone walks into Beis and it says that he stole or he robbed or he lent with interest, so he gets the worst of the deal, kind of. He ends up he has to pay the money, even though he's not believed. He has to pay the money because he's not believed to. I don't know what the Russia part of it. He's not believed to make himself a Russia, but he's believed to pay the money. Let's say he stole, so now he's believed that he stole, but he has to pay the money back. But we won't consider him a ganev or piterda because he can't make himself a Russia. Yeah. Same too if he says he ate an unshechted animal or he had an intimate relationship with someone, which was not allowed. He does not become puzzle, even though he came and he said clearly he said this. He did these violations. He's still not puzzle. Till there's two witnesses. Like what's the word? Invokes this rule that the person cannot make himself a Rasha. Therefore, we have to cut his words in half if he were to give a testimony on himself. Therefore, what happens if Reuven, you have three guys showing up to court. Reuven, you have Reuven, and you have Shimon saying that Reuven I saw him lending money with interest. Then Levi shows up and says, yeah, he lent it to me. He's saying like Shimon and Levi are ganging up against Reuven, saying, yes, you lent interest. He lent it to me. Levi said he lent me the interest. So what's going on over here? Levi is testifying on Reuven, but at the same time he's incriminating himself because he borrowed with ribis. You're not allowed to blend or borrow with ribis. So both ways are not good. So he's blaming Reuven, but at the same time he's also blaming himself. So what goes on over here? What's the result? So Reuven, he has two witnesses against him. So he becomes possible edus. But Levi does not. So a person cannot make himself a Rasha. So he's believed on making Reuven possible, but he can't make himself possible. Let's see if we have a little picture for that. Get more clarity. Can we make that bigger? That's the biggest to make it share the screen. So let's see what it says over here. Yeah, the top. Shimon is telling Reuven, you lent money with interest. And then Levi on the bottom over there is saying, yes, he lent me money with interest. So Reuven becomes puzzled because he has two witnesses against one. Levi, he was the one who borrowed the money. He can't incriminate himself. Let's see if there's a video. Let's see if it actually plays a little bit.
You lent money with interest? Yes, he lent money to me with interest.
So I think that the point is clear over here. Okay, I hope there's not going to be too much noise in the background. Want to join? Yeah, you want to join a shir? I'm recording a shir right now. Shachris, okay. All's good down Shachris. No problem. No, you're not disturbing. You're doing perfectly fine. Okay. I'm in this shul over here. I never really daven over here so much. I don't know what to expect if this room is going to be used in like 5 minutes. If they kick me out of this room, I have no idea what's going on over here. As of now, I'm here, and as long as I'm here and as long as I can record, I will record. Okay, so that was that. That was a fascinating story, right? Okay, and same rule applies to the next cases that I'm just going to list. I'll go through. Yeah, if someone had an intimate relationship, someone says that he had an intimate relationship with another person, or someone forced him to have an intimate relationship, if he wanted it, or what's it, the word consisted, some word of that he did want or didn't want. If he has two people, they could testify. They could make the person who did the act to him. They could disqualify the person who did it, but he can't disqualify himself. He disqualified somebody else, but not himself. Plenty of if someone had an intimate relationship with his wife, him and the other witness could if there's somebody else comes and testifies, they could make the other guy possible who did the action. Yeah, but he can't force to kill her. It seems like because it's not clear if she was Einus or not. Same to everything similar situation to this. Yeah, that you cannot incriminate yourself, but you could puzzle somebody else. Plenty of shady. Someone had an intimate relationship with his ox. Same two over here. Here it's different because he's witnessing on his money. When he's witnessing on his money, he is believed. So he could testify on his own shade, seeing that it was problematic, and him with another witness could force because if the shade didn't avera, you're supposed to kill that shade. Two people which testified on one person, yeah, that he did this avera. Yeah, one of these, any one of these averas that were listed before. What happens if we only have one witness testifying he did it? Yeah, one guy shows up and he says, Reuben shows up and he says, yeah, I saw Shimon, he did this avera. Sorry, my bad. I take that back. Any one of these cases, you have two witnesses saying this guy did this avera. Yeah, whatever it was, if he stole, if he sweared, whatever it is. Sorry, whoops. I'm running out of this English. It's totally Rambam I found over here. So instead of used to turning to the right, and I'm turning to the left. I've turned to the right, but I'm really supposed to be turning to the left. Oh my goodness! Now this made the parak longer. Okay, so yeah, what happens? Two witnesses show up and they say, "Hey, this person did avera." Okay, 5 minutes later, two other guys show up and say, "No, this guy he did avera, yeah, but he did tshuva." Okay, he's kosher. He did tshuva. Okay, what happens if two other witnesses show up and say, no, he didn't do tshuva, it didn't happen altogether. He didn't steal. Two witnesses say, this guy stole. Two witnesses show up and say, no, he never stole. Okay, now you have two contradicting. Now he's a suffix. You can't say he's kosher. You can't say he's not kosher. He's a suffix. And if he's a suffix, he can't use someone who's a suffix. It's unclear. Yeah, you can't now use his testimony. If you were to testify that somebody stole money, you can't use his testimony to take out money from somebody else because he's a suffix puzzle. Therefore, he cannot testify, and you cannot take money based on testimony, and he can't be a dayan till we know that he did tshuva. Meaning, even though it's only a suffix, we still have to know that he did tshuva. How can you do tshuva on a suffix? I do not know the answer to that right now. Halacha Dalid. Kol mishin is chayiv malchus. Someone who was chayiv malchus. Ben shasachil ben shaloko ben raising a chayiv kashusay. Someone was chayiv malchus and he got malchus, and he got lashes. Right after he gets malchus, he becomes kosher again to testify. But if someone stole money or robbed, in such a case, it's not enough that he was caught and we had to return the money. We have to verify they actually went back, actually stopped behaving in such a behavior. So now we have a behavioral issue. It's not just that you return the money, we have to make sure that your behavior gets perfected again. You're not going to do these things again, then we're going to unban you. If we see you behaving well, we're going to unban you and bring you back to testifying society. Halacha hey. So when do lenders of interest get back in line, and start being able to testify again? If this guy, let's say someone lent $100,000, $100 million to somebody with interest, and now he wants to do tshuva, doesn't want to lend with interest. So what does he do? He goes on his own. He rips apart the document saying that he lent with interest. He rips it apart, and now what is he doing? When you're ripping apart the document, now you're taking the biggest risk of not taking your money back because you can lose your money. Now, if you're going to try to what's called collect your debt, someone say, "Where's the proof?" And if you have no paper, you don't know if you're going to ever see that money again. So if someone went so far to do this, then that means you could accept him back and he's kosher again. Yeah, you have to do tshuva to such an extent that you're not even going to take ribis even from a goy, which from a goy you're allowed to. And he's going beyond the code of law. Yep. When the gamblers, how do we know what's indicated for them that they did tshuva? When they're going to break their equipment, their gambling equipment, and they're going to go away from their ways, and they're not even going to play like gambling with dice or whatever, whichever equipment they use, even just for fun, not even for money. Let's see if we have a funny video for that. Let's see, bigger, make it bigger, yeah, okay.
I'm not gambling anymore.
This guy takes his gambling, his dice is over there, and he breaks all his equipment. If someone did that, then you know he did tshuva. Yeah. When do people who go and steal other people's birds? They use their birds to conquer, to steal other people's birds. They send that. We learned it in the previous program. Yeah, they have their own birds, and they send them off to other people's properties, and they know how to like trick the other birds to pursue the birds to come back to their house, to some different place. So basically, he's stealing birds. So how do you know this guy did tshuva? When they break their hunting equipment, they're going to do it. They're going to do so much tshuva, and even in the midbar, they're not going to. In the midbar, you have no problem because you're not stealing from anyone. You're taking random birds. So even in the midbar does not do it, he's so careful. Even in the midbar, he's not going to do it. Even in the desert, he's not going to do it. Then you know he did tshuva, and he's back to testifying society. Shvis are people which people who the whole year round they don't do any business. Suddenly come Shvis and there's free produce all over because now that sell on Shvis. Suddenly they're making business with payers of Shvis. Such guys are suspected. Hey, maybe you're doing business with payers of Shvis, which you're not allowed to. So such people, how do we know they did tshuva? Mishtagia Shvisi Botguru come Shvis and they check them out. Not only that they did tshuva, El Kasev, he writes down, Ani Plani Plani Chanasti Masayim Zuzim Peder Shvis Ereim Nesunim Matan Nadim. This guy have to go way beyond his way. He's saying not only that he won't doing business with Peder Shvis on Shvis, will have to write down on a piece of paper, or if he will do it on his own, basically, say my name is so and so, and I took $200 worth or 200 uzduz worth of fruits of Shvis, and now I'm giving them to the poor people. Yeah, this reminds you of the story. There's once a guy who stole towels from Walmart, and I don't know who gave him this punishment. I don't know if it was employees or they told him otherwise he's going to get arrested or whatever, something. So they told him your punishment will be to take a big paper, like a double-sided paper, and put it on his front and his back, and write down in big, I stole towels from Walmart. And that was his punishment. He stand outside the whole day, and that was his punishment. And that's it, So sometimes, okay, here he actually gave back. He gets people. If people certain things people do, you can sense right away. You see, oh, the tshuva, okay, he's good. Yeah, halacha test. When is someone who swears in Hashem's name, who swears falsely, is accepted for tshuva? Yeah. If he ever comes across Bezin and he tells him on his own that he is chashud, not to trust him in any swearing, meaning not that Bezin thought he's bad. Bezin thought he's good, and he's saying no that he was bad. Or let's say he had a dispute and he had to swear in his defense, and he said, "No, I'm not going to swear. I'm just going to pay the money." And it was a big amount of money. It wasn't $5. It was probably, I don't know, a lot of something money which is a substantial amount. That if you lose that money, it's considered a lot of money. and he was willing to give up that money just to clear his name. Somebody who is a butcher and he sells he was selling meat, and there's a treifa. Such a person is plus, meaning he sold treifa, or he and the chazaka that he ate treifa. He actually ate it also. If you're selling it, you're obviously also eating it. That's what Rambam learns over here, argues over here, learns over here. Shimsun Leidus. How is it possible Leidus? He's possible Achi Yiro and myself Shenicham Alarose till we see that he goes away from those bad ways. Vayibash Chayim is going to wear black clothing. V'yichas Chayim. V'yelech Lamak Mishem Akinerse. He's going to wear clothing. V'yibash Chayim v'yichas Chayim. I don't know what it means. He dressed black and covered with black. V'yelech Lamak Mishem Akinerse v'yachzid Aveda b'moin chashuv. Or he will return a big amount of money that he finds, or that he will, if he becomes a butcher again, it's in this place where nobody knows him, and it's a treifa, and he said, "Oh, it's a treifa, and it's so much money, I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to put it in the garbage." Then he believed. Yeah. So on a side note, this is one of the sources why we all wear black. Why do we always wear black? When you wear black, it kind of like puts us in this state of like, I don't know what's the word to use, but I want to use the word depressed, but I don't want to use that word because I don't want to say we're all depressed over here. But it's some sort of like humility. When you're wearing black, it gives you some sort of humility, knowing that you're more conscious of what you're doing, and basically try to do it when you're doing you do proper actions. So that's why we all wear, many Yidden always wear black hat, black jacket, yep. It seemed to a witness which was proven that he's a false witness. He wants to go back. He has to go to a place where nobody knows him, and someone gave him a big sum of money to testify falsely. The local mafia said, "Hey, buddy, you want to make money? He's a new guy. He's like, you want to make money? I'll give you some good money and testify for me." And he declines. He says, "I'm not going to testify." Also tshuva. He did tshuva. He did tshuva, and same to everything similar to the situation where you see someone did tshuva after something wrong, then he is back into testifying society. Thank you very much. With that, we concluded Perek Yud Beis Hilchos Edus.